So hey guys, welcome back to Nolan's Little Secrets. And as you see, I feel like it's not even a secret, but it's more of like Mr. C's secret. But yeah, let us go on to the end. Haha. My concentration is pretty much short. I don't know. I glance at the clock and realize it is lunchtime. Since I'm here at Nolan's office with him, hopefully we can go to lunch together. Nolan? Nolan, huh? I wonder where he went. He was here in the office a few minutes ago, and yet now there is no sign of him. He wouldn't have left for lunch without me, would he? Just as my spirits begin to sink, the office door opens. You didn't hear me at all earlier, did you? You looked like you were really focused. Is that lunch you're carrying? Nolan has a paper bag in his hand. When he spreads the contents out on the table, it turns out to be coffee and sandwiches. Yes, we'll eat in the office. Sorry, I hope you don't mind. No, it was my decision. Eating out might have been a nice change of pace, but it also would have meant dealing with other people. Here we can at least be alone. Eat up, then it's back to focusing on that person. Of course, Nolan. I guess I'm so sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you go fetch as lunch. Like I said earlier, it was my decision. There's no need to. Things are happening upstairs. There's no need to feel bad. And you have to eat something, right? Otherwise you won't be able to think clearly. Besides, going out just waste time, which would not only be I know that word, I just can't say it right now. Sounds like all he cares about is the person. That's a little disappointing. It will prevent us from sitting alone and talking. Something we have both been too busy to do all morning. So why don't we take a break and chat? I'd love to. But he sure has me worried there for a minute. But it turns out he didn't forget about me after all. Oh my god. Of course he wouldn't have. Following an enjoyable lunch break, the two of us returned to work. So funny how I'm saying that's work. This is so beautiful, man. Oh my god. Several hours later, my objective T isn't really helping me come up with numbers you might recognize. Would you mind if I ask you a few questions? If it will help you get the arched case opened, go right ahead. Frankly, I'm feeling a bit pathetic for not being able to open it right away. Whenever you do, don't let Cody and the others find out. I understand. I find it a bit humorous to see Nolan so worried, worked up over this. He sure can be obstinate. So what is it you want to ask? Nolan stops in the middle of putting papers away and takes a seat. Oh, that's right. So I've been focusing my attention strictly on numbers you might recognize, but I'm wondering if the number might be connected to someone else too. Explain further. For example, what if it's not an anniversary of yours, but some date that's memorable for both you and Mr. C? I never thought about it like that. Sounds good. Keep going. Let me think. The day you and Mr. C first met will be a number you might both know. You're right. I don't remember it off the top of my head. My notes from back then might have it though. I'll check. Nolan puts out his old notebook but fails to find any records of the day. Now that I think about it, Mr. C didn't have any appointments the first time we met. Then how about the day you moved in Lila Court? That was 2 years ago. 2 years? Do you remember the month and day? Of course. Suddenly Nolan's face lights up. That's it. That's what who was getting at. I should have guessed. It's suddenly an appropriate number. He raises from his chair and comes over to join me in front of the arch case. The day I arrived at Lillacott was the number enters today's date. Nolan enters Nolan enters today's date. There's a faint click and the arch case opens. You did it. It's opened. It sure did. But what's this? What's inside? I peer over Nolan at the content of the case. Inside, it's nothing but a single card with a message. Nolan frowns at it. This is his important document? That guy never that guy's never going to grow up, is he? It's an honor to hear you say that. Mr. C. Nolan and I both turned to look at the source of the cheerful voice. Standing in front of Nolan's office is none other than the perpetrator of the arched case game, Nolan Chrysler. Nathaniel. God. This is what happens. I get the ends all confused and the joys all confused. That wasn't meant to be that wasn't meant to be praised. Huh? Oh, I thought it was great. I can never take things seriously when they play this song. Oh my god. Or even when he comes to the picture. Oh, I thought it was great. Living life as an adult is boring. It looks like you succeeded in opening the case. I'm glad you noticed what the password was. I gather this meaning you remembered what the important day today is for the two of us. Nonce sighs, then responds. 2 years ago today, I moved in Lillacott. That's why you said the password for today's date. That's a wonderful present. Wonderful, Mr. C. I'm honored you remembered it, but you could have done something a little more straightforward to celebrate it. Using it as a password for the arched case was rather brutal. I mean, think about it. How much time and effort was spent opening this case? I trust you would have it figured out in no time, Nolan. Isn't that what you told the others? Don't tell me you stopped by Lillacott before coming here. Nah, I heard about it over the phone. Bearing any delivery mishaps, I knew the case would have arrived at Lillacott yesterday. And knowing you will either solve the password immediately and open it in front of everyone, or sit back and observe by letting them all have a crack at opening it. Mr. C was right on the money. Then, sure enough, what did you do? What did you do? You told everyone I'll have it opened in no time and calmly dragged it back to your room. Although since the case is here in your office, I'm guessing things didn't go as you had planned. Surprisingly, Nolan appears modified for once. It seems Mr. Chesler has him figured out from the start. I feel a little sorry for him. I'll say this. Nolan, but you're being childish a little too much. Me childish? Where did you get that idea from? Where do you think Mr. C predicted your behavior down to a T? He even found out how long you spent wrestling with the password. I can't help that. All he said was it's a number I'm familiar with. Who would have guessed it would be the day I moved in Lillacott? Don't say that. Today is a very special day. Don't you think? I want to give you a present to celebrate it. I'm a little disappointed you didn't remember it immediately. Listen, I think it's great to remember, Mr. C. It's just you didn't like all the fanfare. Not exactly. In fact, I'm a little disappointed there wasn't more. Nolan folds his arm as he confronts Mr. Chrysler. I can't believe you just say that. There's never a dull moment with you, Nolan. What's so funny? I'm being serious. When you hate losing that much, of course you're going to be teased. It's going to get teased. Mr. Chaser and myself struggle to control our laughter as Nolan stands there crying. Sour grapes? What? You didn't say crying. Crying. I've never heard that phrase before. Yes. So have you read the card? No. I was just about to when you arrived. Just a second. Then I exactly opened the card up. Written on the inside is what? So this is him. I take a look at the card first while I break into a smile after reading what was on the card. She gives me an appealing look. Oh, I give up. There is always no knowing what Mr. C will do next. Olivia seems so eager to see what's written on the card. I better thank you. So you've given up, Nolan. I am glad I beat you. When it comes to you, Mr. Undefeated. What do you mean? I looked towards the window, moved by the words that were on the card and the beautiful scenery spread outside. Happy ending! I swear this view is just... I can't imagine looking out at that office. I think I'll just get lost in this view instead of working. The sun has set and the beautiful scenery of the nighttime Kaleido is visible outside the window. Nolan holds in his hand the lovely card Mr. Scheisler sent him. What the hell was that? Was that a notification? What does it say? Hey, no picking. Why not? There's no need to keep it a secret. Alright. Nolan holds out the card for me to see. Written inside is best buds. Oh, that's so nice of you, Sister C. I'm honored to know you view me in such a light, Mr. C. Show me. This blush is so cute. Show me one person who wouldn't be elated to receive such a sentiment from a friend. Although he doesn't start crying in a rare display of emotion, Nolan is so overjoyed that his hands start to shake. Oh my god. Thank you. I share your sentiments. Oh, I'm surprised to hear you admit that, Nolan. You may not realize this, but I really depend on you. In fact, I need you. Don't worry though. I'm just talking about your help with all the business affairs around the world. No, not to mention your company while drinking wine. Sure, I understand. With all the ridiculous demands I put on you and the trouble I put you through, I'm forever in your debt. I'll say the Archcase facade is a fair example of that, and it wasn't even related to work. Sure, but you came out of it none the worse for wear, right? I suppose I wouldn't argue with you on that. Anyhow, I was hoping to show you a little of my gratitude today. Oh, don't tell me you have more in mind than just this card. It's not much. Perhaps you and Livia would like to start with a toast. Mr. Chaser claps his hand and caterers begin carrying food into the room. I've ordered you plenty to eat and drink. Have a great night, you two. He then waves goodbye and leaves the office. Good grief. That guy comes and goes like a tornado. I'll probably find it objectionable if he wasn't a good-natured about it. Wasn't so good-natured about it. As far as people go, he's a fascinating person. I agree. I think he's a wonderful man. He's always so cheerful and full of surprises. Also like our walking toy box. I A toy boxer indeed. That describes him pretty well. Since he was a little too far this time with the arched case, I will just have to pay him back by milking his generosity for all it's worth tonight. After all, we wouldn't want all these foods he arranged to go to waste. Nolan smiles wearily while popping the cork of on a champagne bottle. Fetch the glasses. At Nolan's request, I ready two tall, narrow champagne glasses for him. Here's the 2 years I've spent at Lacot. He pours the champagne and we have a toast. After taking a sip, I decide to ask him something that has been bothering me since earlier. Say, Nolan, what made you decide to move in Lacot 2 years ago? Or that I met with Mr. C at some winery. He told me that he has the best place for me to move in if I'm looking for some place to live in Colorado City. Of course, calling me bad at that time too. I see. I gather it's his wish he remain good bad for life. I really respect him for telling me straight out like that. He could have simply just said, let's be friends, but that word is open to a lot of interpretation. And even friends may have no trouble betraying one another. However, that Mr. C he's a strange one. He could call me his best bud and I would never think to question it. And in my line of work, he quickly learned not to take people at face value. Anyhow, I'm confident the two of us will remain friends forever. You've got a surprisingly warm heart, Nolan. What's that supposed to mean? Are you implying I come off as cold-hearted? Not at all. You just rarely let your affection show. I thought by now my affection would be obvious. Does this mean I haven't been flattering you enough? Nolan sets down his champagne glass and wraps his arm around me. It says waste. Like waste. The one that is trash. Sorry. Just think, if I hadn't met Mr. C 2 years ago, you and I might not be standing here together right now. For that reason alone, I owe him my gratitude. He and I may be best friends forever, but you are definitely my lucky catch. I can't help but smile as Nolan uses use of word lucky catches me a little off guard. Normally, concepts such as luck and coincidences are completely foreign to him. Do you really believe it's just luck? What? You don't? It was a coincidence that I met Mr. C and a coincidence again when I moved into Lila Court. And then yet another coincidence when you began living there, right? I do think so. I mean, sure, it was a coincidence when we met. And if left to coincidence, maybe we would have gone on living at Lila Court and never dated. Meeting you was the best thing that ever happened to me. I still remember how my chest would pound even before we confessed to one another. Anytime I was near you, my heart wouldn't stop racing. Do you know what I mean? I felt the same way. But listen, I believe I would have become your girlfriend even if I hadn't moved into Lila Court. I know for a fact we would have ended up a couple exactly like we are now. What proof do you have? I just know my life isn't complete without you. That's all the proof I need. Don't you feel the same way, Nolan? Before I answer that, let me ask you one more question. What is it? Does your heart still race when you're near me? I immediately grin. I love you, Nolan. Of course it does. You're wonderful in every way and the most precious thing in the world to me. Oh, as far as my answer to your question, my life isn't complete without you either. I will never let go of you, and I hope you will never leave me. Not a chance. I promise I will never leave no matter what happens. I place my own glass on the table, then wrap my arms around Nolan and slowly lean closer to him. The food's going to get cold. We can reheat it if we have to. Following that, the two of us share a kiss. The lingering taste of champagne on his lips threatens to make me tipsy. Who would have imagined such a wonderful moment was hidden behind that secret password? Outside Nolan's office window, the stars are glittering brightly, almost as if they too are celebrating this momentous day. Oh, it's the end, guys. That is the end of No One's Little Secret. But thank you, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this. I don't know if I'll be able to finish Carlos because I've already read Carlos on this device, so that just means I have to reread it. But yes, and I also, as well as, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish all the normal endings because it's ending in, what day is it right now? Since I've pre-recorded all this stuff, it's ending in like 3 days, I think, from when I recorded this. So if you know, if you're playing this and you know when it was initially ending, then you understand what I mean. But anyways, yes, guys, I've rambled on for way too long. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next video. Toodles!